in Zim. Welcome back to those of you returning. To those who don't know what this is about, we have a platform that is designed to address topical issues as they relate to the Zimbabwean community, both at home and abroad. On tonight's show, I am really excited to have a name that is synonymous with Kingdom Bank, Kingdom Securities, with business, with motivation and success. We have none other than Dr. Nigel Chanakira. Dr. Chanakira, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mucha, for having me on your show, and greetings to Zimbabwe.
At the point you heard that COVID has turned into a pandemic, I'm curious to know what your initial triggers were as they relate to Zimbabwe specifically.
Okay, specifically, actually, I got a call from a couple of friends. These are businessmen, well-seasoned business people. And we just had a brainstorming meeting. And at that meeting, we came to the realization that there was not a single World Health Organization approved COVID facility. And so we decided in that brainstorming meeting to approach the sisters at St. Anne's Hospital and assist them. That hospital has been closed for the past 4 odd years, as you may be aware. And they were slowly in the process of trying to get it reopened. And when we explained ourselves, they agreed to a joint venture partnership with ourselves to assist them to make this a WHO approved prototype facility. And
Very
so,
good.
you know, we signed an NDA and then eventually got down to a joint venture agreement, and the work started a fortnight ago. So it specifically remains their hospital. Mm-hmm. All we are doing is assisting them in a rushed program to get it opened by next week, we hope, mm-hmm. and so that we can actually run this as a COVID rescue or reaction center. So that's how we started. Subsequently, we've had offers. We've got 4 clinics that will be able to serve as test centers, and these are in Harare specifically, in Marlborough, Acadia, Mbare, and Waterfall. And then we also have had an appeal from our partners in Bulawayo. They're running now with 4 hospitals, and we would support them. And our model is very simple. We have champions who are on the ground, who would consist of, business people, concerned citizens, church, religious organizations, and then a pool of doctors, professional medical people that would be around them. And so we've got that also in Mutare, Shishavani, we have Victoria Falls, and then Chabeza in Gwanda, the Gwanda district. Mm-hmm. And so wherever we have champions who are on the ground, who are working to set up a WHO type approved facility together with our Ministry of Health, then, that would be the target to make sure that these centers are approved by the authorities. And then our job is to make sure we equip them with consumables and equipment, and of course, the medicines around that. So, our thrust is whoever actually, can facilitate a center wherever they are, we want to walk alongside them and support them. And mm-hmm. then because we are aware that there is a huge shortage of resources, be it money or, donations in kind, there's not that much to go around. We're not a very wealthy people. And so what we must avoid is the duplication of, goods and services. If you've got centers that are over-resourced, we should be able to pass those resources on to other people who may be in need of those very resources. Then we are running a call center, which again is the first line of assistance. And the number 2019, when people dial that number, hopefully, by tomorrow with all the networks, you should be able to get in and be able to call that number and get counseling with regards to where you are. We are doing analytics with regards to where the outbreaks are or potential outbreaks, and then we've got doctors, professional doctors and nurses, on our lines, and they are responsible for counseling people.
Sure.
And then organizing, ambulances, if need be, to actually draw people in.
And that's really encouraging. I think for most people, there is a natural concern that most efforts are centralized. So, Harare is the one that's getting the bulk benefit of all efforts. I suppose my natural follow-up question was, it's great to see that capital investment go in. One might ask, though, how affordable those medical services become, though, for the common man in Zimbabwe who may not necessarily have the means to pay for medical care in centers such as St. Anne's and elsewhere.
Okay, so our perspective is that those who have medical aid and can be covered, we are hoping that the medical aids will actually pay for the services so that we've got some cost recovery. But beyond that, we are also saying we will not turn away people who cannot afford it. Because this is a pandemic and we are surviving on donations which are made in kind. And so our thrust is to make sure that we avail medical services to any COVID-19 victim. And money is not the issue. The focus is treatment in order to avoid the contagion, the pandemic expanding.
And the decentralization of investment as well is one that you might want to comment on. So the fact that it's not all Harare-centric.
Yeah, I think, Mucha, the truth of the matter is anything that you start, you got to start at home. Charity begins at home. I think you begin in your own neighborhood for proof of concept in this particular case. We are acutely aware, and this is why I've got the information at my fingertips. We've got 10 provinces. We've got 79 provincial and district hospitals, and we have 1,848 clinics as we stand. And so we know that our thrust begins, our proof of concept and prototype must take place within the vicinity of those who are working this particular plan. And it so happened that the sisters, Little Company of Mary, availed St. Anne, and that's really great. And we're grateful to the Catholics for that particular resource. But we are then aware that in certain rural districts, and we've got 93 towns and districts within those, but it extends way beyond that. The question is, what can we do? We can work with the resources that we have with each and every one of those to make sure that we equip them.
Thank you ever so much again for your time, and God bless you. Stay safe, and please keep on doing what you're doing.
You too, Mucha. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.